Alright, welcome back. So in today's lesson I will be teaching you guys how to make this braided pattern I used in my lotus flower shield pendant. It's pretty simple if you know how to do a braid, so if you know how, this should not be a problem. So let's get started. Okay, so we are going to cut 3 pieces of what I'm using here is 21 gauge half round wire, about 10 inches in length. And then we're just going to get another piece of scrap wire, tie those babies down together. Now this is a simple braid, but you know, instead of locking a braid tight, we got to give it some slack. So to start the braid, we're gonna take the top wire, bend it over the middle one next to the bottom one, take our bottom wire, take it over the middle wire, and see how I'm holding the space in between there. Continue bending the wire like so. It's not going to be a super tight braid. The wire, when you use half round wire like this, it's not going to be a tight braid, so you have to keep that little space in there so that the wire, it would bend on itself and do some weird stuff. It'll kink, it'll do some weird shenanigans. So just keep doing that until you have a piece like this, a very nice long braid. Now you have plenty to work with. We're only going to be using little parts of it. So now we're going to cut 4 pieces of 22 square copper wire. We can cut it 7 inches in length. And we're going to put them all together. Grab some more half round, maybe 2 feet of half round, and we're going to tie all the 4 pieces of square wire together. So I only wrapped the square pieces of wire 4 times just to get them locked into place. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our braid and lay it over these square pieces of wire, and we're going to leave a little bit out over the 4 wraps, and then we're going to lock that into place by going around the braid and the 4 pieces of wire together. And I only wrapped it 2 times. I feel it's sufficient enough to keep the braid in place. Once that is complete, lift up the braid and begin to go in between the braid and the posts and just wrap the square pieces of wire individually. And I'd say the maximum amount of times you can wrap the posts is maybe 9 or 10 times. I think the braid will, depends on what you're doing. If you try to curve the braid and the square pieces of wire, the braid might, fall off. So every, 9 or 10 times you wrap the square, you got to tie down the braid, or else it'll fall off and it'll do some weird and funky stuff as you continue working. So I wrapped it 9 times, and then I tied down the braid again with 2 more posts. And this is just for flavor. I did a little pattern. I gave it like a little middle, a little fun in the middle. So after I tie down that second set of posts, I lifted up the braid, and then I only wrapped the square post 5 times. So it gives it a little middle section, and it's the details that make your jewelry. And you know, this is just experimentation, this is just having fun. And so yeah, I wrapped that 5 times, and then you bring down the braid again and tie down the braid with 2 more wraps around that as well. Once you do that, I lifted up the braid and went in between the braid and the post 9 times again. Tied down the posts and wrapped it 4 more times. It's very symmetrical, very even. Doing it like this gives me a lot more opportunity to create what I would like as symmetrical designs. And so, you know, you have enough room on both ends to wrap and weave the desired patterns, and you know, you have a lot more extra to play with and create with. All right, so now that that's done, you can go ahead and make yourself a couple more, as you're gonna need a few pieces for this project. Thanks for watching.